A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Jesus said to his disciples, "A rich man had a steward who was reported to him for squandering his property. He summoned him and said, 'What is this I hear about you? Prepare a full account of your stewardship, because you can no longer be my steward.' The steward said to himself, 'What shall I do, now that my master is taking the position of steward away from me? I am not strong enough to dig, and I am ashamed to beg. I know what I shall do, so that when I am removed from the stewardship, they may welcome me into their homes.' He called in his master's debtors one by one. To the first he said, 'How much do you owe, my master?' He replied, 100 measures of olive oil.' He said to him, 'Here is your promissory note. Sit down and quickly write 1 for 50. Then to another, the steward said, 'And you, how much do you owe?' He replied, 100 measures of wheat. The steward said to him, 'Here is your promissory note. Write 1 for 80. And the master commended that dishonest steward for acting prudently. For the children of this world are more prudent in dealing with their own generation than are the children of light. I tell you, make friends for yourselves with dishonest wealth, so that when it fails, you will be welcomed into eternal dwellings. The person who is trustworthy in very small matters is also trustworthy in great ones. And the person who is dishonest in very small matters is also dishonest in great ones. If, therefore, you are not trustworthy with dishonest wealth, who will trust you with true wealth? And if you are not trustworthy with what belongs to another, who will give you what is yours? No servant can serve two masters. He will either hate one and love the other, or be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and Mammon. The Gospel of the Lord. This is the most mysterious parable of Jesus, the one that we read about in Luke chapter 16. And here, yes, today we're talking about possessions, and nobody can say, "Oh, I don't have to deal with possessions." Everybody does, also children. You also have your own possessions, your little things, that belong to you. Yes, they belong to me. And you say all the time, "Oh, this is mine. This is my pen. This is my thing. This is my toy." Sometimes you can also say, "This is my money. It was given to me during my birthday." I'm sorry to say that, but none of us can really say that, because actually there is only only owner in the world, and that is God. Everything belongs to God. Nobody is the owner of anything. "No, Father, I have the actual property, my land." Really? Did you create your land? No, that was created by God. So you are just entrusted with the administration of it. And so that piece of paper is just saying that by now you will take care of it. But not forever. In fact, We also are like the administrator of the parable, that we are temporary administrators, and one day everything will be taken away from us. And this is what is happening to this administrator, that even though is unfortunately, it was taken away the administration from him, but he is wise. We could say he's cunning, he's smart. Why is he smart? Because he thinks, I cannot dig, I don't have that strength, to work the land. And how about begging? No, I'm ashamed, I don't want to be there, begging, asking for alms from people. But I know what I will do. No, this I know what I shall do is very much important. Is a verb in Greek that I say for the adults, which because that will help you to remember it. It's a verb that in Greek is gignosko. Gignosko, of course, is the present tense, but here the Gospel is using the aorist. The aorist is a tense that we don't have in our languages. It's a tense that says something when you know and when you take a decision. So that verb includes also an action. So he says, no, it doesn't say gignosko, I know. He says egnon, the aorist. So I know what I have to do. I know what I shall do. I'm ready to do it, and I'm happy to do it because this is the right thing to do. Yes. Many times we discover, for example, what is the obedience that we have to do. Oh, my mom wants me to do that. Oh, I will do it. So I will make my mom happy, And my father taught me this, So I'm following what my father is saying. Okay, I know what I have to do. I will do this. This is that egnon. Okay, so this man decided to do something. Let's see what he's doing. He started gathering all the debtors of the owner. And for example, to one he's saying, how much do you owe? And he says 100 measures of olive oil. And he says, okay, sit here and write 50. What is he doing? Is he stealing, the property of the owner? Not really, because this is how it worked in Israel at that time. And it still works like that in many parts of the world. Commerce sometimes works like that. So the owner told him, okay, at the end of the year, this is the amount that you need to give me, $100,000. That's all I want. The rest is yours. So why the administrator was dishonest? Because he was charging too much. So that 50 is what he owes to the owner, and he was charging on that 50% more. Everyone who sells knows that the right thing to charge usually is 30%. That's what would be, a good gain, a fair gain. But this man was charging 100%, because out of 50, he was gaining 50 more. So 100% more. And that's why somebody told the owner, this guy is dishonest, he's charging too much. Now what is he doing? Now his part of commission is donating. So that 50%, instead of putting in his pocket, he's using that for making friends. And that's why the administrator that is now losing not even one penny, otherwise it would put him in jail, is praising him because he's giving up that part. It was too much for him to keep. He was using that to make friends. And here comes the teaching of Jesus. Make friends with dishonest wealth. Why wealth is dishonest? Maybe because I gained that wealth in a dishonest way? Not really. Well, it can also happen, but that is true not really only for wealth. that is true for anything, even if I gain, a small amount of money, but I do that dishonestly, that is dishonest also, dishonest possession, right? But here Jesus is calling wealth dishonest. Why wealth is dishonest? Because it always deceives. What is the deception in wealth? That you start thinking, because we are human beings, and we are like, that man at the parable that starts accumulating. And you will start thinking that your life depends on how much possessions you have. And that is not true. It's not true. Our happiness doesn't depend on how many things we have. After you have what you need, after you have an extra one for your safety, for the safety of your family, then you don't need much more. So here Jesus is saying, instead of accumulating a lot of money that will be sitting there, maybe that will be multiplied in even more money. But what are you doing with that? Is your life getting better because of that much money that you have? Or because of that much power? Or because of that much property you have? No, your life is still the same. In fact, you see, it doesn't depend on that. Possibly, if you have too much, there is a part of troubles that will come from that, from the necessity of taking care of it, of watching the money, watching the property. So here Jesus is praising the man. Is praising because he is smart? Well, there is a consideration that Jesus does that is a very sad comment of Jesus. He says that the children of this world are smarter than the children of the light. Is it Jesus that those who go to church are not that much intelligent? Because you go to church, so you must. There is something smarter out there. Is it what Jesus said? It doesn't make sense, actually. There are many intelligent people, very smart people also here. I can tell you that. So what is Jesus saying actually? Jesus is saying that, surprisingly, there are some bad people that they really try hard to do the bad things that they decide to do. And he says, how come? That you are the children of light, sometimes I don't see you work that hard. I don't see you try hard in doing the good things that you can do. I don't see you trying hard in holiness. I don't see you trying hard with the grace of God. But you have the most important thing of the universe. Is only a distinction in between us and them? No, because sometimes I have to tell you, when I am in the grace of God, when the Holy Spirit is with me, yes, I'm a child of the light. Sometimes when there is temptation, when there is a darkness around me, when there is the test, and sometimes also sin, can be closer to me. I am not a child of light when I am in sin. And Jesus is saying, when you are into that darkness, sometimes it seems that you work harder. When there is let me give you an example, for you to understand what I'm trying to say, what Jesus is trying to tell us today. For example, something really bad. I'm going to say something really bad. Maybe you got envious because you desire something from another person, from your friend. Oh, how much I like that thing. I would like to have it. So you start thinking about that, from early in the morning to sunset, and you try hard to succeed in getting your goal, to have that, because you are taken by greed. Do you work that hard, when you are in the grace of God, and you have to go to church, and you have to pray, and you have to help somebody? It seems, says Jesus, that we are very much relaxed and slow when we work, in the path of God. Instead, when we are tempted, when we want to do something something wrong, it seems that we are more effective. How efficient we are sometimes in doing bad things, but when we need to do something good, we are not that effective. So here, the teaching of today is that Jesus is telling us that if you have something that you can share, maybe you can use that instead of for human things, for the things of this earth, maybe you can use it to love. Because love is the only thing that will make us immortal. You will become immortal only when you love. Because not even death can take away from you the love that you feel for a person. Yes, death will take away from us anything we own, but it will never take away the love that you have in your heart for someone.